Welcome back to the show. We are pleased to welcome in studio ESPN the Magazine's senior writer and ESPN.com blogger, Bruce Feldman. And I got to say one other thing. In addition to all of his other responsibilities at ESPN, he also has a book out called Meat Market: Inside the Smash Mouth World of College Football Recruiting. And Bruce, we can discern from the title what it's about, but give us a little synopsis of what this book really entails.
Well, I really wanted to find out how the recruiting process kind of actually works. You hear so much about it, so many fans are into it and follow it online. And so what I did was try to go from one signing class, signing day, to signing day, and just for the whole year to go through from the evaluation process, watching film with all the coaches, having their meetings, talking about the kids, the summer camps, the official visits, the unofficial visits, and it's just really a big chase. And it's interesting to see how the coaches keep an eye on what's going on with each kid, how they kind of reprioritize the recruiting boards, and everywhere where they're trying to fill needs and then figure out who can actually get into school academically, who they may have to, who's their plan B, who's their plan C, what's going to happen, as they're kind of watching different needs pop up just as the season starts to play out. It's a really fascinating process to kind of get in the middle of.
A lot of information out there from a lot of different outlets. How accurate is the information before the coaches actually get a chance to see these kids? You know what?
There's a lot of misinformation that's out there because there's so much attention paid to it on the internet. A lot of kids and high school coaches have become pretty savvy, and what really blew me away was kid you'll see his profile on one of the recruiting sites. It'll say he's 6'2", 225. He'll claim to run a 4.6 40, and on his GPA he'll be a 2.7. Well, then the school gets him to show up at a summer camp, and he's not 6'2". They measure him at 5'11". He's 203 pounds, and he runs a 4.96. And then when they finally get his transcript, he has a 1.7 GPA. So now they're not even sure, not only they're not sure if they want the kid, they may not be able to get him into school even if they do. And so a lot of that kind of process, maybe the kids aren't taking the right classes. I mean, there's so much more that the schools have to deal with than really what just gets put out there on the internet with that positive spin and as somebody trying to market themselves.
Then head coach Ed Orgeron at Ole Miss gave you some amazing access. What was the biggest surprising aspect of recruiting in the book for you?
I hear so much about character and toughness and those kinds of things as just a viewer, and then you see these kids who may have all the measurables and the things they kind of try to grade out at a combine or whatnot, and vertical jumps and shuttle runs, but then if the kid isn't tough and he won't hit anybody, or if he's not sharp enough to understand a scheme and grasp it at full speed, he probably will get you beat because he's the guy who'll blow assignments and get everybody out of position. And that's ultimately, I think, where you find out just how good of a player is, because a lot of it is mentally tough and how smart you are, and those are the things that are really hard for people to evaluate until they really show up on campus.
Hey, you mentioned these camps. How important is this to the coaching staff where the kids actually come to camp and they can work them out?
Oh, it's a huge thing, because not only do they get to work them out and actually see how big and how fast they are, they also get to coach them in their drills, the same drills that they do, with their players. And so you get to evaluate, is he coachable? Is he tough? How does he respond to these kinds of things? Is a kid stiff? He may run a good 40 time, but what happens when we want him to turn and run or do some of those other things? And for the coaches to do that and see the kid in person, it's huge just to get them there.
Well, they're all looking for the next Tim Tebow or Reggie Bush. We've got an '89 Heisman winner here, Andre Ware. Let me get your early favorites for a Heisman Trophy going into this season.
Well, the guys I'm really high on, obviously, is Tebow. Everyone knows about him. He had a great year. I think Chase Daniel deserves to be in that mix. He plays for a really good team. He puts up big numbers. I mean, he's a great leader. I think you'd put Pat White in there, and then maybe as a wild card, Mark Sanchez. He plays for USC, the glamour team. He's going to be in a lot of high-profile games. He's in that position where a lot of people are going to keep an eye on him.
See, I think you got to have a body of work, and I wouldn't anoint Mark Sanchez just because he plays at a school that has some Heisman winners there, and he plays the position there. I like a couple of other guys. LaShawn McCoy may end up being the best running back in the country at Pitt this season. Graham Harrell down at Texas Tech. He's going to throw for a bunch of yards. He's got that body of work that you talk about and that you like. And Sam Bradford, third in the entire nation in pass efficiency last year at Oklahoma. They're going to have a super team going into the season. He's a guy that you keep your eyes on.
Well, the book is called Meat Market: Inside the Smash Mouth World of College Football Recruiting. The author, Bruce Feldman, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for coming in.